In front of me here, a cantilever TV wall mounting bracket. Okay, so you can see anyway, it comes in this pretty nondescript box here, but it's relatively compact. I really like this bracket for a number of reasons. Okay, the first thing is that it gives absolutely fantastic flexibility. It's easy to mount, and it can handle televisions up to 60 inches. Okay, so we've had a number of different cantilever brackets we've tried over the years, but this one here definitely, I think, from a design perspective, is very strong. So let's just look at exactly what comes with it. So there's the main bracket, which you can see here, which we're going to come back to in a moment. There's an instruction manual here that's quite good. There's these two brackets here, which I'm going to show. These will actually be bolted onto the back of the television, and they hook then onto this bracket that will be mounted onto the wall. And they also, a part of these feature of these is that they'll actually adjust the angle over and back like this, so we can adjust the tilt, okay? And what I'm going to do is one quick piece of assembly here. You can see we have two little handles here. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to get this handle here now. I'm just going to unscrew it. So there's two of these. And we just slot it through here. Sorry, from the inside. And we put this on the outside here. And what we can use here is if we're adjusting the angle and we want to lock it in a particular position, we can loosen it, and when we get to the angle we want, we can just lock it in here like this. So we'll obviously just use this for one side and that for the other side. So there's a locking mechanism here and a little hook here. I'm going to cover that in a few moments with you. And then we'll move on to what the final part of the jigsaw here is, where we have a whole series of screws and bolts here and spacers. So the first thing here is the wall mounting screws here. This is what we'll actually use. These bolts, the plugs, and also the washers here, we use this for actually bolting this bracket onto a wall. And then we have a range of different size bolts here that we can use for bolting the television onto the actual wall bracket here. And then we have an Allen key here, which you can see. I'm going to show you the use of that in a few moments. And then we have spacers as well. And the spacers would be used in conjunction here, and it would be just used to push the television out. Now, the reason that this is so flexible in terms of the different size of televisions can be used for, in terms of the VESA standard here, we can see here that it's just a series of slots. So VESA is measured in two ways. You have a distance along the height of the television, and you have a width. So this can be with great flexibility in terms of the depth, and in terms of the width then as well. These can actually just slide along this wall bracket here, which I'm going to show. Now, so to show the actual assembly process and how this comes, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up this bracket at this point, and I'm just going to open it out. So you can see when it's fully extended like this, it comes more or less fully assembled. So what we would do here, if we're mounting it onto the wall, we have a whole range of different holes we can drill here. So we just drill 4 holes, or maybe more if we need it, but let's say a minimum of 4 holes here, and we just put the screws through and we just bolt it onto the wall, and that's it. And then in terms of the offset here, we can see we can choose a range of different offsets. So we can have it very tight to the wall, or we can have it well offset like we have in this case here. So if we just come along here, and we can see we can just compress it like that again, okay? So we'll move along then to this point here where we actually want to come along and mount this, the television. So what we would do is we would actually bolt these onto the television as an initial step. So we'll have these brackets bolted on, and at that point we can simply lift the television with these brackets in place onto this main bracket here. So there's 2 parts to this. So the first part is that we have a hook above that we wanted to slot on, but we'll see when we go to put this on here. We've had to unscrew this bottom screw, which you can see in my finger here. We have to unscrew this so it can slot down there, and then we screw it back up. And what happens when we get back up with the screw here now, we have it locked in position, so if I go to pull it off, it won't come off. So the next issue you have, of course, is you don't want it to slide off the end, but we can see we have stop guards here. So if we try to slide it down until it passes a certain point, it stopped. So we'd simply repeat that process on the far side here, and we have it there, and then we have the position here where we can actually mount the television. Now, in terms of making sure that it's completely square, we have a great advantage here that we have a spirit level, so we can adjust, and we can see how the spirit level is adjusting. We can make sure it's fully square. And in terms, let's say, if it's been mounted somewhat crookedly, And this is always a possibility that you'll mount the back part onto the wall a little bit off, or possibly we'll say there might be a slight strain on a bracket, something like this, and it's not completely square, and you end up with a television that's slightly skewed. Well, it's not an issue with this one here, because what you can do here is you can see you can actually adjust this here like this, so you can square it up perfectly without having to do major remounting work in terms of the TV bracket itself. And once you have it exactly squared the way you want it, you'll simply come along and use the Allen key to screw it in here. So as you can see here, it's a very impressive bracket, and in terms of DIY effort involved in the assembly, etc., it's very, very minimum. Certainly, to have taken what's a relatively complicated bracket in terms of it's the largest bracket we have in our range, and they've made the assembly on it extremely simple. So that's it anyway, an overview of the cantilever TV wall mounting bracket, and this can support televisions up to 60 inches.